What's up, you sick mother bluffers? And father bluffers. I guess daddies get bluffed too, right? We're back at it. In this one, I'm headed to Final Table for their monthly 20k guaranteed tournament. Before we jump into the action, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more of my videos, feel free to subscribe. This is what it looks like on desktop. This is what it looks like on your phone. It's just a couple of clicks for you, but it helps me and the channel a ton, so thank you very much. I buy in for $100, I take my seat, let's get into it. First hand of note, we joined the action at the 300-600 level and under the gun player has limped, button calls, and I look down at 10-8 offsuit from the small blind. I'm NC to get involved in the hand. Big blind has been playing very passively so far, so I'm not expecting them to squeeze. I make the call, and the big blind is going to check their option. My loose passive play gets immediately rewarded as we go 4 ways to a flop of 8, 3, 10, rainbow. I flop top 2. Being first to act, I'm going to start things off with a check. I think this is a pretty safe flop to do so. I would love to see some action from the players behind me, but it checks around. The turn comes to 5 of clubs, no checking this time. I bet 1500, big blind folds, under the gun makes the call, and the button folds, so we go heads up to a beautiful river, the 10 of clubs. I make a full house. I think my opponent called my turn bet with either a straight draw, a weak pair, a 10, or a flush draw. One of these hands braked, one is weak, and 2 are now strong. If my opponent is weak, they're going to fold to pretty much any bet size. If they're strong though, they'll be willing to call a big bet. For that reason, I fire out a pot size bet of 6,000. My opponent does not snap fold, which is great. They go in the tank for about 15 seconds before, raising it to 13k. I am living the poker dream right now, sitting with the nuts, betting, and getting raised. I bask in the moment for a little bit before putting the rest of my stack in, about 28k. This prompts another tank from my opponent. They think things over for about a minute before saying, "Your boat is good," and making the call. I show them the bad news. They flip over ace 4 of clubs for the nut flush. It's no good, sir. I get a full double up. Let's go. I spend the next few levels chipping up and down. We resume the action at the 1k, 2k level when I pick up ace jack suited in middle position. Action folds to me, I make it 6,000 to go. The low jack and big blind make the call. We go 3 ways to a flop. Of jack ace 5 rainbow, I once again flop top 2. Big blind checks. I could definitely go for a bet here as this is a fantastic board for both my hand and my range, but I get a feeling the low jack, who's been playing fairly tight so far, might be holding a weaker ace and could potentially overplay top pair. For that reason, I decide to check. It's a pretty safe flop to do so anyway, and I love to see the low jack reach for chips and bet 8,000. Big blind gets out of the way and I decide to just smooth call here. We go heads up to the turn, which comes at 10. It's an interesting card. If my opponent had a hand like ace 10, they're going to play for their stack. However, if they somehow had king queen, they just made a straight, in which case I'm the one who's going to lose a bunch of chips because I'm never folding top 2, especially as played. I check for a second time. My opponent thinks for about 10 seconds before going all in for 32k. I make the call and the low jack shows ace king. Wow, did not expect to see them show up with this hand after just calling my raise pre-flop. The river is a 10. I almost double up again. Let's keep it going. Picking up some momentum in this level as a couple of hands later, I look down at pocket aces in the hijack. What a beautiful sight. I bump it up to 6,000. When action gets to the button, they raise to 17,000 and it's now back on me. Once again, living the poker dream. It looks like the button started the hand with around 60k. I put them all in and they pretty quickly make the call with pocket queens. It's a classic cooler. Happy to be on the right side of it. Let's go to a run out.
Oh! 3?
No!
Wow! Suck and re-suck.
What a sick run out. My opponent finds the 2-outer on the flop, only for me to make a runner straight and stack them. Things are going my way so far, and I'm now sitting on a monster stack. Literally a couple of hands later, I peel pocket kings from under the gun. I open the action to 6,000. The small blind is my only customer, and we go heads up to a flop of 10 jack 3, 2 hearts. Small blind checks to me. I throw out a c-bet of 10,000, and my opponent snap calls for 5,000. I guess I couldn't see their stack. In any case, they're all in, and they show pocket 5s. Let's go to a run out.
In always like that.
Wow. Really?
Oh man.
Oof. This time it's my opponent who finds the suck out. Thankfully they were very short, so it's only a minor dent to my stack, still plenty of chips to play with. Coming out of a nice level where I tripled up my stack, we're now at the 1.53k level. I'm in the small blind with 4-3 offsuit. When action folds all the way to me, I decide to complete, as again I'm not expecting the big blind to raise unless they wake up with a hand, and they check their option. We go heads up to a flop of 6 king 9 rainbow, action checks around. The turn comes the 4 of diamonds, pairing me up and putting a second diamond on the board. I check for a second time and the big blind bets 6,000. Unless they were slow playing on the flop, I don't think they've got much here. I make the call one time. The river comes the queen of hearts. I check for a third time. My opponent checks back saying they missed, and I take it down with bottom pair. Taking a look at the prize pool, there's 7,200 up top for the winner. There's 52 players left, 27 getting paid. I am sitting comfortably above average stack. Let's get back into it. Action slows down a little bit, going back to chipping up and down for a few levels. We're now at the 4k, 8k level, and I pick up ace queen offsuit from the hijack. When action folds to me, with 12 big blinds in my stack, I decide to go for a straightforward shove here. Everybody folds, and I increase my stack by about 20%. An orbit or so later, there's an open to 16k from the hijack. Action folds to me in the big blind, and I peel ace king offsuit. Since raising here would commit about half my stack, I decide to go for another straightforward all-in. Looks like the hijack does not want to play for stacks and they fold. I pick up some more chips. We're pretty deep in the tournament now and blinds are starting to catch up. We're at the 5k, 10k level, and Under the Gun is going to open up the action by going all in for 60k, about 6 big blinds. They did this an orbit ago with a very weak holding, so when action folds to me in the big blind and I peel ace 9 off, even though it's more than half my stack, I think this is a standard call. Unfortunately, my opponent has the goods this time. They show pocket 10s, and I'm going to need some help. We go heads up to a run out of 4 king 6 rainbow. Turn is a jack. River is a 3. I'm going to lose a good chunk of my stack here. I'm left with about 5 big blinds. In the following level, with blinds at 6k, 12k, there's a limp from Under the Gun 1. The low jack calls as well. I'm in the cutoff, and I look down at king queen offsuit. I shove for 48,000. Action folds back to the limpers, and they both make the call. I've got a chance to triple up to a somewhat healthy stack. Let's see what develops. The flop comes 7, 8, 6, 2 diamonds. They both check. The turn comes the deuce of clubs. Under the Gun 1 bets 12,000, and the low jack makes the call. It's not looking great for me. The river is the 5 of hearts. Under the Gun 1 bets 20,000. The low jack folds, and Under the Gun 1 shows ace deuce offsuit. Nice hand, sir. I am out of the tournament in 35th place out of 168 entries, so I bust pretty close to the money after 7 hours of play. Tournament poker can be brutal. Let's see what the action is like over on the cash game streets. I didn't bring a whole lot of cash with me tonight, so I buy in with what I got left, 190 bucks. Let's try to at least recoup the tournament buy-in and break even for the night. I take my seat, and I very quickly realize that this is an action table. The player across from me is making it 30, 40 to go almost every hand. People are showing up on the river with extremely marginal hands in massive pots. Hopefully I can find a couple of spots to run my stack up. In this one, I pick up ace 10 suited in the cutoff. There's a limp for middle position before I make it 15 to go. I get calls from the button, small blind, big blind, and the original limper. We go 5 ways to the flop, which comes 3, 7, ace, rainbow. Action checks to me, and I fire a bet of all in. I'm not too sure what I was thinking here, as that's twice the size of the pot. I suppose given the action at the table, I could get a call from a worse hand, but I really don't like to play on a super dry board like this one. In any case, it gets the job done, and I pick up a decent pot. In this hand, I look down at pocket kings from Under the Gun. This could be the spot I've been waiting for. I open up the action to 12. Under the Gun 1 makes the call. Action player in the low jack 3 bets to 48 bucks. The small blind cold calls the 3 bet. Action is back on me. I'm going to 4 bet all in for just over 200 bucks. Under the Gun 1 gets out of the way, and the low jack pretty much snap 5 bets all in. Small blind is going to let their hand go, and so we're going heads up to a run out, which comes queen 5, 3, 2 diamonds. I'm not loving the turn, which comes another queen. The river is another 5. The low jack mucks their cards, and so I get a full double up and then some. Let's go. Last hand for the vlog. In this one, I pick up king jack offsuit in middle position. Under the Gun and Under the Gun 1 call. I bump it up to 15. The button, small blind, and big blind make the call. Surprisingly, the 2 original limpers fold, so we go 4 ways to a flop of 5 queen jack 2 hearts, a flop second pair, and a backdoor flush draw. I debate between betting and checking here. I ultimately decide on a check, and action checks around. The turn comes the 9 of hearts, so I now pick up the flush draw as well as a gut shot straight draw. When action checks to me for a second time, I decide to throw out a bet of 30 bucks, and everyone folds. I was in the game for 190 bucks. I cash out for 485, booking a profit of just under 300 bucks. With the tournament buy-in, this brings my profit for the night to 150 bucks. A win's a win. I'll take it. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck at the tables, and I'll catch you in the next one.